everyone. Today we got to play Thunder and Lightning. I thought that this was very appropriate since we just watched Loki yesterday.
Yeah, and I think I made a lot of thunder during the.
That's an understatement. But before we get into this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you want to hear more about our adventures. So let's talk about quality of pieces. There's really not a lot of pieces to this game. You literally have the cards, which do have a linen finish. I think they're really good
They're
quality.
really good. They're good quality cards, and you have screen printed tokens for Loki and Thor, which are pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, quality of pieces for a standard card game, this is top notch. I really like the cards. What would you give it for a score, though?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot to it, but when if Rob were here, he'd be counting down on that, which I don't understand on quality of components. If whatever's in there is good quality, it's good score. So I think this is probably an 8 for me at least. I think.
I mean, if you're judging with what's here,
yeah.
I think it deserves more than that. They did a perfect job. Even the box is really thick
That's
and
true.
nice. And so, really, I don't think they could have really gotten any better quality on this game. So I'm going to give it a 10.
Okay. Yeah. I really, honestly, I can't think of anything to take it off for. I mean, it does have a nice storage, so I think you're right. I think I probably should have considered that.
Oh yeah, the storage is
form fitting. Now, whether the only thing is it doesn't fit sleeved cards.
Right.
So I think I'm more of a 9 because of that.
Okay, but still super nice. Love the quality of this game. Now, as far as theme goes, this is about Thor and Loki going after each other. I love the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely fantastic in this game. Truly amazing. And the feel of everything is just spot on. They did a great job with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It evokes the feeling of the Norse gods very well. And, even the backs of them, I really love the color choices and the layout. It's really cool.
So, give it a score.
Probably going to give it a 9 on theme as well. I mean, it's not heavy as far as the gameplay, I guess, really.
I mean, it's battling. I mean,
yeah.
2 components. The Loki forces are going against the Thor forces. I agree with a 9 because, but the artwork is spot on.
Good.
It is beautiful. So as far as, thinking about this, wonderful quality of pieces, beautiful artwork. I mean, as far as a 2-player versus game, this is pretty great as far as those components are concerned. So moving on to Rulebook. The rules are very, very straightforward. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to read barely any, which is why I got in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, because someone didn't read all the rules.
Listen, it was the setup. I didn't read the setup. I just saw the picture and I duplicated the picture.
Yeah.
And that was my fault. So there's that piece of it. But I will say it is very easy to read. The rules are very simple and straightforward, but they do go into detail with some of the specialty cards in the back of the book if you need it. But honestly, reading them, I don't think you really did. But it was nice to have that in case there was clarification issues, which we didn't have to have quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 12-page read, but it's a small book, and it's real simple read. Mm-hmm. It's not hard at all. Yeah,
the pictures were great. Again, the rule book, as far as beauty goes along with this game. This is a very pretty game.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if they had this dead space here. They could have put a recap of the actions on the back of the book. That would have been probably my only complaint about it. Not that it's hard to remember the actions. There's only 4 choices really. So but it would have been nice to have that there just in case you got the first time playing. What are the choices I have?
Yeah. So what would you give it?
Probably because of that, I'll give it a 9. I mean, there's nothing really to take off from it. It's a very straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, a cheat sheet maybe would have been helpful, like you said, the back of the book, but honestly, not necessarily needed for this game. Now, going into gameplay. This is actually pretty straightforward. So you have your side of the board, which can have 3 columns, 4 rows deep, and then you have your deck of 50 cards. You draw 9 cards, and you get, depending on how many columns that you have, is how many actions you get, unless your Loki or Thor is out, in which case you get 4 actions.
But
No matter the columns.
As soon as you get your hand of 9 cards, you're going to put 3 of them into form a front row. So you start with the game with 3 actions.
Yeah, Loki always goes first, so be aware of that. And then,
is that why you took Loki, even though it's blue?
No, I took Loki because I figured you'd be more of the paladin righteous goer, and Loki, I bring.
You mistakenly thought that my paladin-like nature trumped my being blue.
Well, I know you're not chaos, and that's definitely me. So.
Well, you were definitely a trickster in this game. I can say that.
But like I said, so during your turn, so you have the number of actions based on the number of columns that you have, and then there are 4 different actions. One is to draw a card. One is to play a card on the battlefield. One is to challenge the other opponent in a particular column. And then the last action is to play a special ability card called mythology cards. And those are basically the ones with the symbol in the corner versus a power strength that you'll find in the other ones. So that is essentially what that kind of looks like. And then you go after each other and you try. There's some strategy to it about trying to empty out someone's column so they have less actions to play, and also building up your own to make sure that you don't end up with less actions. Because I think once I got you down to 2 actions, it was very easy to get down you to 1 action, and then that just led to the end of the game very, very quickly.
To be fair, she started the game out wrong by setting up the first 3 cards directly from the deck instead of from us choosing them. So I got really crummy cards in my first row, and then I never saw any high numbered values. So in this game, if you're familiar with Stratego or even War, it's basically a variant of Stratego.
Right.
So your high numbers win in most cases, although there's some specialty cards that will take out higher numbers too. So you've got to be cognizant when you're challenging that if you're challenging blind, you could take on something that wipes out your strong pieces.
Or it could be just a level 1 Raven. So,
yes, you never know.
So yeah.
And given the fact that my entire deck seemed to be formed from level 1 Ravens, whereas you had your highest card values all out, I lost badly.
Yeah, and well, with any deck build or set deck, there is some luck to it. Even with like Magic and Pokemon and all of them, sometimes you get a hand of just mana or, mana and there's nothing you can do. Or the opposite is you don't have any of it in your hand and you're screwed no matter what you do. So it's a...
Or in games like you don't have, say, choices when you're setting up your first board. Now, we did...
I still don't think it would have mattered that much
because
of the cards that got pulled out.
Given the fact, I would have maybe stood a better chance because I did have some counter abilities against your strong ones. I didn't even have my strong ones, but I had things that could have taken them out. I just never got to play them because as soon as I play a card, you would wipe it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely a one-sided game. But the last time we played this, it was definitely more balanced. And when we played it that time, I really enjoyed the game. Not so much today, but I did enjoy it before because I do like chess and Stratego type games, and this has a feeling of that, but it doesn't. It feels more like a war. Whoever's had the high card wins. Although the abilities of the other cards are a nice touch that I think is really cool. Or some of them will let you get cards back out of your discard pile, and they're appropriately themed. So like Hell is the one that lets Hela or whatever lets you get a card out of your discard pile and put it into your hand. So thematically it makes sense. Now why she's in both of our decks, I don't understand, but.
Because death doesn't choose sides, right?
I guess.
Everyone has to die. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But give it a score, though. What do you think overall?
I'm probably at a 7.5 on this one, I think, as far as gameplay. I think it's fun. It's a very light, quick, easy to get out game. It's portable, but it's not really in-depth. If you're wanting to play something like a Stratego and you want to travel, this is a really good alternative.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've enjoyed games like Pokemon, like Magic, and I've played those, and this kind of gets that feeling, but not the depth that, like, I don't have to go sit there and try to figure out how to make a deck or anything, and the deck's already made for me. So it's kind of like an easier, breezier version of those games. But it also adds a different element, though, because you have the columns and the rows. And so I kind of like that because in that aspect, you get more of the tactics involved. But this is light enough and straightforward enough that I don't mind that it's a tacky, because that's kind of the point of the game. So I'm kind of with you on the 7.5. I mean, this is a fun little game. And I'll be honest, the quality of pieces make it that much more enjoyable for me. Like,
definitely.
This is just a beautiful game that, I mean, half the time I was looking at the artwork on the cards and not necessarily their abilities. So I think that was really, really great. And the tactile feel of the quality pieces were spot on.
Well, I do appreciate also that the Ravens are really cool because now they're one of the weakest cards in the deck, but they're also simultaneously one of the most powerful because one of the ways you can win the game, one is by basically wiping the board out, just combat-wise. But the alternate means of winning is by playing the Ravens to fish into the hand of the player or to find it on the battlefield. But there's basically a totem that each team has. I have Odin's Ring. I forget what Loki's totem is. But if you find the object from the other player, then you win the game automatically. So I had the ring in my hand. So if you had tried to use the Ravens to find it in my hand, you might have won the game that way. I didn't see your totem come up. It's a neat little game. I mean, as far as being portable and being able to play this on the go anywhere, it's a very nice game for what it is. It does take up, obviously a little bit of the table because you need a 3x4
But I don't think it's that
grid.
bad. Yeah, it's not that bad though. I mean, you could do this on. I mean,
not
itty bitty spaces, but
Yeah, the first time we played it in a hotel on a bed, I remember that. And it worked fine.
Yeah. So overall, great game. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope to see you guys later.
Bye.